Hello, I am Lykaios, and today we're going to talk about generators. There are quite a few pieces, but the generator itself is pretty simple to figure out. First, you have your fuel chamber. This is where you will put your fuel rod. It converts the stored energy in this rod into energy your ship uses. Connected to this, you're going to have a generator unit. You're going to have a battery somewhere in the system. This stores the power generated by your generator. If you do not have a battery, the power will be produced, but it won't be stored and you're losing it. Now, the rest of these items in some way interact with the generator unit, and they only go on the generator unit if they go on a actual piece of the ship. You have two socket boards. Red is for data or power, uses the cable. Blue is for coolant. It uses the pipe tool. Both of these sockets can only be placed on the generator unit. Placing them on the generator fuel chamber won't actually do anything, and I've seen people do this multiple times, and they can't figure out why their generator is not producing power. Once you've attached those, you're going to need coolant. Coolant makes the generator run, cools it down. There are at least 3 types of coolant regulating devices. First, you're going to have a coolant rack. This connects on some part of your generator. You put 3 coolant cells inside. This is a full cell. This is an empty cell. It'll turn red as it's used, and it changes and processes it over time into new coolant. This you can put on your generator. This is a radiator. It goes on the outside of your ship, mounted to a hardpoint. It has expandable wings. The more wings, or whatever you want to call them, means that it's going to take the used coolant and turn it into fresh coolant faster. It has a certain amount of storage. I think this one's 50, so it can hold 50 coolant and process it at a time. I would recommend using both these in tandem. They just need to be connected to the pipe system, and they will both work to cooling off your generator. You can get away with either or, but they're both easy to use. And then this third option here, I've not actually tested this much, but this is its own contained coolant recharging device. You mount it somewhere on your ship, and it uses power to refresh the coolant. Pretty simple. Now let's connect this all together and see what happens. So we have our fuel chamber here. We're going to put a fuel rod inside. I always like to bolt it down. You'll see that this has almost full amount of power. It has 300,000 fuel. You'll see the generator unit also has different rates on it. Maximum rate is 100. It's currently at 0 because it's not producing anything. From here, we're going to attach our generator. This is actually what produces the power. You'll see it has a rate of 100 is max, and it is at 0. From here, we're going to attach our socket boards. So this is the power output socket board, or the data socket board. This is the coolant. Gotta get around it here. Both of these are attached. Now let's also attach our coolant rack. We'll put 1 cell in here just for the heck of it. Get rid of all these things. The last piece we're going to need. Let's see if it's actually producing power. It's already producing power when we connected the coolant, but the power is not going anywhere. So let's give it somewhere to put its energy. We're going to slap this battery on top here. It's connected, and we're going to hook it up. Now you'll see it's starting to store power inside the battery. That's as simple as it is when it comes to making a generator. Generators are modular, so if you wanted to expand and put more generator units on it, I would recommend doing so. Just keep in mind it's going to allow the stored raw fuel to be consumed faster. On top of building the generator, you also want to use a script so that it is more efficient. The reason you do this is because as it is made right now, the fuel is being consumed even though the power is full and nothing's draining the power. And the reason that is because by default, it's going to increase its generator unit rate up to its maximum value, which is going to be 100. From there, it's just going to sit there and eat the fuel until it runs out. In order to change this, you're going to need two things. You're going to need a Yolo chip socket. There's a rack, or there's this. This is the easiest one to use. You're going to need a Yolo chip. So let's put our Yolo chip in here. Let's mount it down, as I like to do, and slap it on the generator. Now, all that's left is to connect it. Now, before we do that, I've already put in the code, but you're going to need this code. Put this in the description. Before we hook it up, two other things you need to change for this to work. You're going to need to go to your generator unit, and you're going to need to change your generator unit rate limit to Gen. What this does is this is a part of the script here, and it changes. This is the value it's changing based on how much power there is. As this is changed, the unit rate limit, which produces the power, decreases or increases. By default, it's going to go to 100 until the script kicks in, and then it's going to throttle that down. The only other thing you need to change, you defined a battery. It doesn't have to be all the batteries, just one battery. And you're going to go, and you're going to change stored battery power to BAT. What this does is this tells you how much energy you have remaining out of 10,000. Once it gets below 9,500, your generator is going to throttle on and replenish that energy. Let's hook it up, and you'll immediately see, if done properly, your generator unit rate should be throttled almost down to 0. This is because the system is not draining enough power for this battery to drop below 9,500. Alright, that concludes this video. If you have any questions, comments, let me know.